Hey guys, John McSpagan here, and welcome back to yet another WWW, also known as Who Would Win. And in this episode, we're going to be putting up the legendary games Persona, and then we're going to be putting Persona up against Final Fantasy. This will be entire game face-offs. We have done one before, Mortal Kombat vs Street Fighter. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check that one out. And we're going to put up every single character from one universe up against every single character of the other universe. This is going to be a fair fight with no cheating involved, so we can't poison the waterways or something of the other kingdom. And so with that said, let's get right into this. Persona, also known as Shin Megami Tensei Persona, is a series of role-playing video games developed and primarily published by Atlus. The series is a spin-off from Atlus' Megami Tensei franchise, and was originally based on the high school setting of Shin Megami Tensei If. The first entry in the series, Revelations Persona, was released in 1996. There have been 9 further console titles, 5 main entries, and 4 spin-off titles, with the latest, Persona 5, being released in 2016 in Japan. The series takes its title from being summoned by characters in battle, manifesting from their personality. Persona began as a spin-off based on the positively received setting of If. Its trademark features include a high school setting, a group of students as the protagonists, a silent protagonist similar to the mainline Megami Tensei franchise, and combat using personas. Since the release of Persona 3 in 2006, the main series has used a social simulation function called Social Links, which is directly linked to how personas evolve. Central characters designs are by series co-creator Kazuma Kaneko, Persona and the Persona 2 games. Shigeno no Nori Sojima, sorry for that pronunciation, Persona 3 onwards. Its overall theme is the exploration of the human psyche and how the characters find their true selves. The series' recurring concepts and design elements draw on Janagian psychology and archetypes. Along with multiple world mythologies and popular literature, Revelations Persona was the first role-playing Megami Tensei title to be released in the West. Beginning with Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, the English localizations began to remain faithful to the Japanese versions. At the insistence of Atlus, the series is highly popular internationally, becoming the most known Megami Tensei spin-off and establishing Atlus at the Megami Tensei franchise in North America following the release of Persona 3 and 4. The series also established a strong following in Europe. Since the release of the first Persona game, the series has sold 6.9 million units worldwide, forming a substantial part of the Megami Tensei franchise's total sales. There have been numerous adaptations including anime, television, and theoretical series, novelizations, manga, and stage plays. Now moving on to Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is a science fiction and fantasy media franchise created by Hironobu and Sakaguchi and developed and owned by Square Enix, formerly Square. The franchise centers on a series of fantasy and science fantasy role-playing games, RPGs. The Epinos' first game in the series, published in 1987, was conceived by Sakaguchi as its last-ditch effort in the game industry. The title was a success and spawned sequels. The game series has branched into other genres such as tactical role-playing, adventure role-playing, massively multiplayer online role-playing, racing, third-person shooter, fighting, and rhythm. The franchise has also branched out into other media, including CGI films, anime, manga, and novels. Although most Final Fantasy installments are standalone stories with different settings and main characters, they feature identical elements that define the franchise. Recurring elements include plot themes, character names, and game mechanics. Plots center on a group of heroes battling a greater evil while exploring the characters' internal struggles and relationships. Character names are frequently derived from the history, languages, pop culture, and mythologies of cultures worldwide. The series has been commercially and critically successful. Sorry about that. It is Square Enix's best-selling video game franchise with more than 130 million units sold, and is one of the best-selling video game franchises of all time. The series is well known for its innovation visuals and music, such as the inclusion of full-motion videos, photorealistic character models, and orchestrated music by Nobuo Uematsu. Sorry for that pronunciation again. Final Fantasy has been a driving force in the video game industry. The series has affected Square Enix's business practices and its relationships with other video game developers. It has also introduced many features now common in role-playing video games, and has been credited with helping to popularize console-based RPGs in markets outside Japan. With both Japanese RPGs being very similar but very far apart at the same time. They both have extremely good graphics, although Final Fantasy goes for the more realistic American Western world type approach to their graphics, where Persona takes the more Japanese style approach and still uses the classic anime manga style for their characters in the video games, which isn't a bad thing. They are both incredibly popular in their own right and both smashed RPG records and have also revolutionized the gaming industry. But which one would win if all their combatants fought against each other? Now that is a very good question. After my research, I can clearly identify that the winner will be Persona. And here's why. Persona has extremely much stronger characters such as the Reaper, just to name a couple. The Reaper is extremely strong and it can nearly practically not die. Same with about 3 or 4 other characters. They are nearly immortal and can pretty much only die if the entire world dies with them. And the strongest character in Final Fantasy in the continuity is Seth Iroth, and which is true because Mamoru stated in one of the games that he is the strongest, and he does not have the ability to defeat the Reaper, which is practically death itself. If all fought at once, FF, or Final Fantasy, would win, but the few left standing from Persona would wipe the floor with the ones left from Final Fantasy, because they are simply stronger and have the more stronger abilities to do so, and they practically can't die. Final Fantasy would put up an extremely good fight, but eventually Persona would just wear them down. Final Fantasy would kill majority of the characters off, but leave only about 5 standing, and they'll just completely wipe the floor with them. Final Fantasy does have the more skilled combatants in it, but Persona definitely has the extra power and abilities in the games. And that just about wraps up this episode of WWW. If you did like this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'd just like to quickly shout out Isaru Gaming. Isaru Gaming is a great channel that mostly does fighting games and some Japanese games and RPGs. If you do want to check out his channel, a link to it will be in the description below, as he suggested this battle, and he has helped me out with some gameplay, and he's also helped me out with future videos going to come out. So, big thanks to him. With that said,